segment called Knowing Africa.
South Africa has the highest GDP. Wow. That is talking from $182 billion in Africa. And then Guinea-Bissau has the lowest at $230 million. Alright, welcome back. It's still Daybreak Nigeria right here on television Nigeria, and this is the time where we can talk about the main discuss for today. Our topic is Africa's free trade agreement, pros and cons. And to discuss this with us, we have a senior economist in the person of Paul Alaje. Good morning.
Thank you so very much. Good morning.
All right, let's start looking at the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. The ideas are laudable, but as a senior economist, looking at the African continent and all she had suffered over the decades, do you think this agreement is good for Africa, considering the fact that we have the giant, the big nations in Africa like Nigeria, South Africa, not being part of the agreement yet?
Yeah, so thank you very much for having me once again. As we speak, 44 countries have signed the agreement, 11 are yet to do that. As you mentioned, Nigeria and South Africa are yet to put pen to paper to sign. Now, when we talk about Continental Free Trade Agreement, what are we talking about exactly? We are looking at elimination of tariffs of 9% and 10% of sensitive goods. We're also looking at perhaps freedom of movement of human beings that's creating of people to make it absolutely easy without getting visa. You can travel over 50 African countries just around the continent. But what would that mean for Africa? In 2010, the United Nations mentioned to us that 10% of the entire GDP of Africa, which is about $2 trillion US dollars, only 10% was inter-Africa trade. So by 2022, if this agreement is signed in 2018, just 4 years down the line, right, Africa will have about 50% trade. But this is without its cost. The first cost is that government is going to lose $4 billion US dollars annually. $4 billion US dollar government would have collected in revenue, would have collected government. When I say government, I mean head of government or government in different states of Africa would have collected as tariffs from businesses, they would have collected from tariffs and so on, and also import duties, so on and so forth. That would be lost. But you know the good news. 16 billion US dollars will be made. Why will it be made? Because there will be expansion in trade. There will be expansion in tourism. People will now move. There will be more economic activity. It will boost the entire African business environment. So what is Africa without Nigeria? What is Africa without South Africa? What is Africa without few countries? Egypt. The truth is that 20% of the entire GDP of Africa is the GDP of Nigeria. The entire GDP of Africa. So if you remove 20% and you remove approximately 15%, which is 35%, what is left of Africa? So these two countries, as it were, they dictate narrative for the entire black continent. So for me, we need to decide for ourselves, is it good for us to sign? I've told you the benefit, I've told you the cost. And if you say why the cost is social, we may need to also look at that. Let me give you an instance. United Arab Emirates, particularly Dubai, built the tallest building in the world called Burj Khalifa. Burj Khalifa was built with 1.5 billion US dollars. The environs of Burj Khalifa, including the popular dancing fountain and all the serene environment, was built with only 600 million US dollars. So if you put all of that together, you have $2.1 billion. Today, Dubai rakes in billions and millions of dollars just by having Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world. There was no foundation, there was no excavation of that property as of 2002. In 2004, the excavation started. In 2007, it was delivered. Guess how much Dubai made? Guess the net worth of that property today. The same amount is what is said in Nigeria that some persons may manage in Hampstead, just $2.1 billion. If it is well managed, imagine what Nigeria would have. If it is well managed, so what I'm saying in essence is that you may actually transform 4.1 actually, properly speaking, $4.1 billion to $16 billion in a matter of 5-10 years, if it is well managed. But the fear is that, what have we managed well in Africa? I don't know.
Okay. All right. If it sounds and it looks this good, the potential is going to bring to Africa, why is Nigeria, South Africa, being reluctant to go ahead and assent to the agreement?
Similar reasons why United Kingdom don't want to join the EU. I'm going to explain to you. Everybody wants to cash in on the population of Nigeria. Okay. 1 in 8 of black persons are Nigerians. Nigerians don't have plans to produce. I don't know where you've been, but I've been to a number of places in Nigeria, from Sokoto to Kano, to Kana, to Niger, to Maiduguri, to Borno, to beaches in Maiduguri anyways, to Benue, particularly most places in Benue, from Boko to Chukpo to Chukpa to Himini. You know, in those areas, you go down south, you see what you see. Even there from Middle Belt again, from Lokoja, go down south, up onto the creeks. What are we producing? All of us are in the studio, including my beautiful sister. Our clothes looks different from us because she want to call us West. The truth is that even our clothes is imported. Our hair is imported. I'm not sure she's not even imported if her name is Tokubo. That's the truth, because that means everything is imported. So we are a nation with huge population. Nigeria Bureau of Statistics says that we are 185 million. The National Population Commission says that we are growing at 2.25. The world put our population at 182 million. The truth is that less than 2 million of us have production capacity. Okay. So what happened is that people who can now produce where there is power supply in their countries, like Egypt, like Kenya, relative power supply, they could produce at cheaper rate, not just because of power supply, also because of cost of funding, cost of capital, which people call interest on capital. It will be relatively cheaper. They could produce, bring it to Nigeria, compete with our local market, and that's what happened. Our local market will be suffering. And as an example, under General Sani Abacha, he signed a trade agreement that flooded Lagos port with fabrics. When he flooded Lagos port with fabrics, since that time to date, Nigeria textile industry, textiles mill, they're still suffering to come out of that. It is not wrong to sign the agreement, I must say. So I don't give a negative, because I'm trying to just put things in perspective. You said the pros and the cons, so we are considering the two. It is not wrong. It is just that Nigerian Manufacturing Association is more of a union now than doing the job. They are not ready. The Nigerian government likes to pacify people not doing the job. The job is to provide power supply. You cannot say that you have generated 7,000 megawatts and only 3,000 is what people can use in their homes. The implication of that is that if Nigeria, all Nigeria put up their electric bulb at the same time, the transmission company will be done for it.
Okay, so would you then say that because the Nigerian authorities, like Nigeria, they have been able to sit down and analyze some of these things and see that probably they are not ready for the competition ahead, that is why they are delayed in signing? Absolutely,
absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Absolutely, absolutely. They are not ready. And you see, you cannot continue to close your market forever. China, that practice other key. China did not practice other key because of the word other key. I don't want to expose my market. China was busy producing something. Okay. So how do we get busy producing something? It's not that government will produce. Government have no business doing business. We have innocent. Somewhere in the east. How do we support innocent? Perhaps make policy that all official car, from president to the councillors car, must be made by innocent. Even if government are going to say that you are going to give us 20-30% discount because all imports on the engines and so many other things you are bringing to Nigeria will also give you waiver. So it becomes both ways. Or you pay, then we also pay you. So there is no subsidy of any form, and that will even boost GDP, if you ask me. So those people are producing computers. We have many organizations producing computers. In Nigeria now, we have some guys, some young tech guys less than 30 years trying to assemble phones in Nigeria instead of throwing to the shores of China, because what people do in Nigeria, they say made in Nigerian phones. They only design, they don't assemble. From design, you need to get assembly. After assembling, you cannot go into manufacturing. So for me, I think Nigeria is not yet ready. Again, another fear is that you remember that sometimes ago Morocco mentioned to want to join ECOWAS and Nigeria disagreed. I was part of our argument that Nigeria should disagree. I was happy that Nigeria disagreed, and I will tell you why. Morocco also belongs to France. One of them is a treaty that put together people in the Mediterranean together, countries in the Mediterranean, and Morocco, so many European countries in that region are looking for a way to flood the Nigerian market because of the standard of commodity that we produce here. Your eyeglasses is good. It's not that you don't want to buy made in Nigeria, but it's not just available in Nigeria. So you are forced to buy what is imported from Nigeria. The implication of what you just go and check 3 indicators. They are produced globally. They are global indicators. First of all, is called the ease of doing business. The ease of doing business. Nigeria is rated 145. Most of some countries, reasonable countries, there are 20 countries or so, are higher than Nigeria. South Africa is higher than Nigeria, Ghana is higher than Nigeria, Egypt is higher than Nigeria, Gabon is higher than some countries are. And when you see this, you're not just happy. The second one you check is Human Development Index. Nigeria was rated 152 out of 108 countries rated. That includes income capacity, that includes income, that also includes what is happening to health, beg your pardon, what is happening to education, and lastly, what is happening to living standard. The last one is Human Capital Index. A Human Capital Index, Nigeria was rated 118 out of 140 countries. Do you know the truth? All the countries I mentioned earlier are whole ahead of Nigeria. So in terms of infrastructure, when you look at Global Infrastructure Index, it is weak. That's how Nigeria was rated. Education, it is weak. That's how Nigeria was rated. So you have people who are supposed to be producing. Why is it good for us? I will tell you. The agreement is very good. And I mentioned it's just that we are not ready. It is not the fault of other African countries that we are not ready. We are not just ready because we love to do politics. We don't consider the issue of development. I will tell you why it is good. Population size of Africa, of entire African nation, is quite huge. It's quite big. Nigeria is only a fraction of that. About, say, 20% or less than 20% of African entire population. If that market is open, Dangote, for instance, is open up to a larger market. Okay. And once Dangote is open up, provided that the production is up in Nigeria, that is Dangote, we need more hands to produce.
So employment becomes
more. But remember, Dangote is just one business or a few businesses in Africa. Other African countries that also could produce better than Nigeria, what happens? So there will be business competitiveness would increase. So if you cannot compete, then you go and look for somewhere to hide your face. That's exactly what may be happening.
Right.
Okay. You mentioned earlier about producing in Nigeria, and you also mentioned something about the cost of production also. Now, my angle I want to ask is, could it be that due to the fact that the Nigerians do not believe in what is produced in Nigeria? For example, I remember there was a day a woman in the market, a woman wanted to buy, what was it called again? And she asked the woman seller, said, "Are you sure this is not Nigeria? Or because if it's Nigeria, I don't want to buy. I want the one from Ghana." Now, so would it that Nigerians have lost belief, we have lost trust in the production of our own things? And then, what could be the cause? How did we get to this point that we don't even believe? You mentioned innocent. Now, I had someone one day, I was on the road and someone told me, "Look at that car." It was actually what's the car called again? Like a Hilux. Yes. Okay. And he said, is it a Nigerian made or from outside? And I said, from outside. And he said, no, look very well. And I was like, okay, he said, that is made in Nigeria. He mentioned the innocent. Now, if you look at it, it's very good. But he said something. He said, that car might probably get accident and spoil. Very easy.
He said might.
Yes.
He has never used it.
Now, so that he has not used it, but he is saying that it's not going to last. It will stand the test of time.
I agree with you. You see, countries sell themselves. A country is a business entity until we see it as one. Have you asked yourself, if you want to wire your house, which electrical cable would you use? Would you use America as big as it is, or China as big as it is? You use Nigeria wire and cable. If you use anything outside Nigeria wire and cable, it's fake. That's the perception anyway. Nigeria can produce good things. The narrative we sold to ourselves is that we are fake people, is that we don't have capacity. And as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. The word of your mouth will always catch up with you. It is what we say. So how many people are saying good of Nigeria and how many people are saying bad of it? The problems are obvious. My fear and my concern is that authority who are supposed to be saying good of Nigeria and also make policy to make Nigeria good, for instance in education. How many of the people in government, in Senate, in House of Representatives, in presidency, in offices of governors or gubernatorial offices and the associates working with them have their children school in Nigeria? Nigerian schools will not be good because they don't have taste of it. I've traveled to a number of places, like I mentioned earlier, and some of the places I've gone to, they are schools. When you hear that there are no chairs in class, my sister, is an understatement. The roofs are falling. That's how to describe the problem. The roofs of the classrooms are falling. But does that mean it cannot be good? Does not mean that we cannot make it better. We can. Nigeria could produce good things. Nigerians have schooled here. When they get abroad, they become stars of some sort. The truth is that an alligator in Nigeria, a lizard in Nigeria, I beg your pardon, cannot become an alligator outside. As you think, so you are. So it is not that we've lost faith in Nigeria. It's because the perception of things in Nigeria might not be good is stronger than the reality we have. And who should change the narrative? That's government. That's why, have you wondered that now advertise on television? Have you noticed? Country advertise because they want the world to see that they are not what people say. So you know, they said invest Macedonia, invest United Arab Emirates, invest Qatar. So you want to visit those countries. The moment you visited the country, you must sit there. You have contributed to their tourism growth. Sure. How many people are contributing, are advertising Nigeria? We have beautiful places in Abuja. People can see. Let me tell you the truth. Most of the money we are owing, the money we are looking for to finance budget, is actually in our backyard, and I will explain that to you. The Minister of Communication and Tourism, in the person of Mr. Lai Mohammed, he traveled for an event where we have the Secretary General of United Nations on Tourism, and he said that not less than $300 billion we exchange hands between 2017 to 2030, 13 years. Most of the places people want to travel to is Africa. How prepared is Nigeria to get 10% of this money? What are we going to do differently? All our resource centers, resort areas, our mountains and all of that, I think Mabila is where they are killing recently. Yeah. So you want people to come and invest in that, and we're not even honest. We are not so honest with resolving this crisis. I can now appreciate government effort because recently I can now hear government vehemently condemning, which is what has been done. You have given killers so much confidence to keep killing that it's a conflict. Meanwhile, government is in office for the sake of welfare and security. Let me tell you, if there are no security of life and persons, labor is the most important factor in factor of production. When labor is not secured, in fact, you can reduce entrepreneur. In advanced economies, you don't have land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. You only have capital and labor. Because land is a form of capital. Entrepreneur is a form of labor. So you only have two. And of the two, labor is key. Because it is when you have human capital, quote and unquote, labor capital, that we produce capital. This cup with the beautiful coffee you have in it is produced by a human being. Everything you have is produced. Even you were produced by a man and a woman. They were produced by a human being. And it is the know-how of the people. The difference between us in Nigeria and some persons outside the world that gives us all the equipment we use here. It is because there is something they know that we don't know. And if we can know what they know, they will start buying from us. But we may not know what they know if our best don't get to position to make decisions of people that know to come out for us to function well.
All right, let's still bring back to the pros and cons of this agreement. Recently, we got that one of the key advantage of this recent agreement is the fact that it's going to eliminate the multiple and overlapping agreements we've had in the past. How true is this? Don't you think it's rather going to cause some conflict in some other bilateral agreements reached by other African countries?
Well, I don't. You see, this is a grand agreement, and it's purely economic agreement. Okay. It has nothing to do with a regional agreement like ECOWAS and because when you're talking about free trade, right, you have African Union. African Union, we are saying all the countries in African Union should now have a continental free trade zone, so that import of goods and also migration of people is with much ease, without border harassment. So all of that can happen. That's exactly. Now, I don't think it's going to affect ECOWAS, because already people can move freely. We are just saying extend the one you are doing in ECOWAS to other parts of Africa. So there might be, but you see, gray areas can be taken care of. Gray areas can be cleared. The truth is that if Nigeria were to be ready, we are only playing, even at some point, we have agreed that we're going to sign. But we now notice that, hey, we are not prepared. Our manufacturers
But what of South Africa? Could you also say South Africa is not prepared?
South Africa is also different. What does South Africa produce? What do they produce? The main fear of these two giants, these two countries, is that a country from Europe, for instance, China, may go set up in Zimbabwe and start flooding South African market at relatively cheap price. Let me tell you what countries are doing recently. Countries are now subsidizing export in order to keep their currency in shape. And the most important thing as government, for government, is job creation. That's the reality of 21st century. Now they've produced what they need. They need to keep producing for people that do. Government don't even mind to subsidize exports. Nigerian government has started subsidizing exports to encourage people, so that people can have enough work to do. So if that happens, and you are now competing with people who have called themselves, countries that have called themselves giants of Africa. Nigeria said I'm giant of Africa or giant of West Africa. South Africa is saying I'm giant of Southern Africa. But somebody comes, start flooding the market with goods, and then perhaps, maybe, what do we buy the most in Nigeria? This one that government is talking about, rice. And we are the best rice, and there's no tariff for rice. Guess what? A bag of rice will come at 4,500. The government will be messed up. Nigerian will say, well, I say love Nigeria, it's just that this is cheaper. I see milk recently. There is a brand of milk, because I don't have enough money to pay you all the shows, so I don't want to mention it. There is a brand of milk. You have Holland of that milk, and you have Nigeria of that milk. This particular milk,
is that good news?
You have Holland, but Nigeria is more expensive than
that milk.
The foreign recently. It used to be that the
foreign used to be more expensive.
Now Nigerians, before I love to take Nigeria must stay. But the moment I hear that the Holland, I say Holland, and the perception is very good. Maybe I should even try what the Holland is. And you get what I'm saying? And we start losing market. Why? Because exchange rate has halved. The value of Nigeria has halved from 199 to 360. So import from Holland will now be relatively cheaper compared to local production in Nigeria.
All right, just to wrap it up, between South Africa and Nigeria, if both countries refuse to assent to this agreement, what is the likely fallout?
Well, the likely fallout will be that the two countries will also not have access to some benefits. And if you are growing at the rate you are growing, which is relatively slow, Nigeria is growing at, as at the fourth quarter GDP growth rate, was growing at about 1.4%. Okay. The entire 2017 was average of 0.8. This is a country's population, according to an agency of government, is about 2.55, and is projecting that this year it is going to grow at 4.5, according to Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, which was made in 2017 anyways, at 2.19, approximately 2.2, but only perhaps the second largest exporter of oil in Africa. Yeah. I think I heard recently Angola has overtaken us. As the second largest country, where are we going to send it to? Our crude oil to. Before refinery in Lagos gets ready, we see it selling to Europe. But when it gets ready, the refinery in Lagos gets ready, we'll be selling to ourselves. And even if nobody is buying, there are so many things you can do with product. Our population size is big enough to take some things that we produce. But the fear here is that we are not even producing enough.
All right, on that very sterling note, we'll call it a wrap on the discourse. It's been awesome talking with senior economist in the person of Paul Alaje. Always awesome having him in the studios, and you would not want to end the conversation, but for the want of time, we're going to call it a wrap for this segment, and hopefully in the future we'll have you join us to help us deal on some very economic issues that's going to take Nigeria to where we deserve to be. So we'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll be looking at the papers and the big stories right here in Nigeria. All right, welcome back. It's time for us to look at the big stories making the rounds right here in Nigeria and looking at Nigeria's dailies and national.
It's 20. All right. And the back page, we have beautiful stories that you can definitely look out for on the Daily Trust. Beautiful morning.
All right, looking at the interesting stories on that Daily Trust, I like the part where PC says they decide the tenure elongation of their chairman and not the president. I think the crisis within the APC, it's positive for the Nigerian people. What it means is that we're always going to know what's happening in between, and it gives us the opportunity to make the right decision. And come 2019, all the political parties could actually stake claim for the presidency by bringing in the best candidate they think is, and the Nigerian people making the decision.
I still disagree in a way, because if you are actually expecting them to share their dirty linen in public, definitely not all of it will come. Look, like there's something they always say, no matter how much the quarrel is, there's some things you would definitely don't know. So I think in this case, all we are seeing is just patches here and there, but there are some things that definitely Nigerian people would not get to know. But I think that they are really making so much fuss about this particular. This is not what Nigeria needs. We need money, we need growth and development, we need infrastructure, we need so many things, and we don't need quarreling over someone's tenure and leadership. And I want to find out something about the Malaya's accusers and the people that escaped.
I think it's a custom with the Nigerian police. They have this attitude of letting go people under their watch. It's very funny. Dino's accusers have escaped, and the IG is deciding to change the CP just because of that singular act, and not the killings that occurred. Remember a few weeks back where lots of citizens of Kogi were killed. The Inspector General of Police didn't see that strong enough to change the CP, but because Malaya's accusers got let go, he's changing the CP. There's something wrong with the thought line.
That goes far to say that there is something fishy about it. There's
anything that has to do with the elites, they're quick to act.
Yes, because for what I can say, we have had several cases of jailbreak, in different parts of the country, and now, why does it have to be now? What if the people that were actually that actually escaped were not really Belaya's accusers, but definitely because something has to be said, and then it now looks like it is Malaya, they are Malaya accusers. So, well, I think Dino definitely will be somewhere planning another song to be released.
It's also very funny when you say accusers escape. Then if they're accusers, they're not being convicted.
So how
so it just tells us something fishy out there. Let's go to the Punch newspaper. The big stories there. Still begin from page 10. It says, talking about Dino's case, IG removes Kogi CP over suspects escape from custody. We've got crash aviation sector here. Court orders Associated Airlines to pay Fela's family 246 million naira. Find details on page 20 of the Punch newspaper. We've got Senate passes harmonized PIGB, 6 Buhari's assent. Page 31 is where you get the details of that story. Dapchi girls pray for on Good Friday can urges Christians. That big story is on page 7. Oyego calls off scheduled meeting with APC reps. Find details on page 2. It says a shouting match at APC NEC meeting. You want to find out who was shouting in the match? It's on page 2. All right, we've got Lagos admitted into Oloa's investment company. Page 6 is where you find that big story. We've got Nigeria's deal, Shell files a criminal complaint against ex-employee. Page 31 is where you get that big story. And we've got gunmen kill 3 in Zamfara. Page 10 is where you get that story. Car wash attendant sells customers' car to raise wedding funds. Page 4 and 5 is where you find that interesting story. And then we've got Lagos Island Church police storm MBA office over planned protest. And court orders Abari Bay, 2 orders shorties to produce candle June 26th. Page 13 is where you get an interesting story. All right, just wanted to know, we're calling off scheduled meeting with APC reps. What does that mean, Jerry?
It means that Oyegu still wants to exercise whatever power still remains in him. Well, I think he's still there, so he still has so much power. But I think it's really not necessary for you to call off the scheduled meeting. Why do we always have issues whereby the best way for them to exercise their power is to call off meeting or not be present at the meeting or give an order? Just some very funny things.
Power play there.
Exactly. So
all right, just to get to views, car attendant, car wash attendant, sells cars to raise money for funds. Is the marriage already blessed or cursed?
Well, a blessing of marriage comes from above. It doesn't come from man.
He decided to take his own.
He decided, well, you never can tell. When people ask this way,
Under pressure.
They're under pressure for something. There is definitely something. If you dig deep, and that's why you have to go get a copy of the Punch to know the reason as to why. And then you remember yesterday we talked about the women that were raped by some people in front of her husband. I got a full story from Calabar on that issue, and the full story goes that. The man was actually in his farm with his wives, and this guy came and raped the woman, the wife in front of the husband. And when the case was taken to the police, they arrested they went to pick up the culprit, they arrested them, and then not long they granted bail. But the good news is that justice was prevailed because they got the guys back, and then the DPO in charge of that particular was sacked, was fired immediately because of that particular case. I think it's a good one.
That's the way to go.
Exactly.
All right, just to get your last views on court ordering Abari and other shorties for kind of the IPOD leader to produce kind of June 26. Do you think this is just like trying to give the dog a bite and just to hang it?
You should get kind of before June 26.
You have to.
I think I wish them well in their search to get the IPOD leader. But if you look at it very well, you want to tell me what are those things? Why do you want them to find this man? What has he done? What is his crime?
Well, IPOD has been prescribed as a terrorist
group.
That's
and the big question is, what have they done? Have they killed 76 people? Have they burned cars? Have they slaughtered people like animals ready for Christmas Eve? Have they done any of that? I think there are some questions that we need to ask. It's just that some things are better left unsaid, like
all right, let's go to the Tribune.
All right, so the Tribune this morning, the big story here says IG removes Kogi CP, SARS boss. Others, that is on page 4, that is under the escape of suspect linked to Melaye. And the writer here says police declare Melaye suspects wanted, place them on Interpol watch list, and Melaye gives police 48 hours to produce escape suspect. Okay. All right, this is beginning to be interesting. All right, so Lagos land use charge, police issuing warning as NBA insists on protest to welcome Buhari. That is on page 34 of the Nigerian Tribune. And we have a picture story here. Governors Abiola Jimobi, Ayodele Fayose, Akim Ambode, Ralph Aregbesola, Rotimi Akeredolu, and the Deputy Governor of Ogun State, Chief Mrs. Ananuga, at the quarterly meeting of the Western Nigerian Governors Forum in Lagos. And we have on page 32, Southwest Governor going back on accelerated rise program. And Khan declares Good Friday as National Day of Prayers for Leah Sharipo. That is on page 4. Well, I think it's not just about prayers alone.
Yeah, the federal government do the need to ensure, and the security forces already have an idea where the captives are, so do the needful to get them free. All right, let's go to the Daily Sun. The big stories there say PIGB, National Assembly approves a 5% fuel levy. On page 8 is where you get that big story. We've got a suspect escaping Kogi, gets role in police. IG removes CP, SAS commander, DPO. Police declare Dino Melaye wanted. I will sue police for mental assault, says the senator. And details on page 8 of the Daily Sun. We've got railways. Senator protests South and Southeast exclusion, calls for restoration of services to Eastern lines. Find details only on page 12 of the Daily Sun. Federal government states LG's share 647.39 billion naira. And Governor Wike wins International Sports Award to receive honor in Belgium. Find details on page 46. Those are the big stories making the rounds. And let's go to the next one.
All right, the Nation this morning tells us that RMSFC disowns 13.5 million naira running costs for senators. And then right here says only National Assembly can explain spending details. Well, you find the full story inside on page 2 of the Nation. IPOB, produce Nnamdi Kanu or go to jail, court tells Abaribe and others. That is on page 8. And lawmakers pass PIDB, page 2, with 5% fuel levy. That is on page 2 of the Nation. Malaya's accusers escaped from custody. And on page 44, Mikel return against England. That is some of the big stories right here on the Nation this beautiful morning.
All right, let's wrap it up with the sporting life. Going sporty, Mourinho wants the Gay Ronaldo swap. Find out details only on Sporting Life on the Park page. But Manchester United offer Vidal 4-year deal. Manchester City to open talks with Raheem Sterling. And we've got Robin Hint, Bayern exit. We've got Stop Shakara Football. General tells Iwobi, talking about the Super Eagles. And if you remember his uncle, J.J. Kocha, then you have to understand why there's some bit of flair in Iwobi. So we've got Flying Eagles go down fighting in Egypt as Governor Wike gets AIP's African Power of Sports Award. We've got General Ashore Super Eagles with bounce back, says lost just a game. And we've got Mikel vows to return against England, sends messages of encouragement to Super Eagles. Those are the big stories making the rounds on the sporting paper this morning, and that's how we call it a wrap on the newspaper review segment. Now you know the big stories making the rounds right here in Nigeria. Are we ready for a break?
Just to add that yesterday was Tinubu's birthday, so we would just say happy belated birthday.
All right, hoping that Tinubu and the entire APC get it right as they wobble and fumble towards 2019. So this is how we're going to wrap on Daybreak Nigeria. It's been awesome being with you this morning. My name is Anthony Momodu, saying thank you very much for being part of Africa's finest breakfast show.
And my name is Cynthia. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Television Nigerian. Follow us on Facebook, Television Nigerian. Like our page on Twitter and Instagram at TV Nigerian. And everything you do, don't forget that life is very, very sweet. You don't have to waste it. And of course, as you travel for the Easter period, just know that be careful because we definitely want to see you back here next week.
Good morning.
Bye.